A very warm welcome and a very good evening. Welcome to UBC News Tonight on this 5th day of April 2023. Now, before we delve into tonight's news bulletin, let's first take a look at the top stories tonight. Prime Minister Nakadama tasks leaders on service delivery. Ginger Diocese to animate this year's Martyrs' Day celebration. Deputy Premier Nakadama used OPM iron sheets to roof damaged public institutions. And in sports, Serenity Oval Kamengo to host Western Edition. Good evening once again and welcome to UBC News Tonight. I'm Lauryn Masika Kazimoto and my colleague Elizabeth Nakakoni on sign language interpretation. Now we start off this news bulletin with Prime Minister Rukia Nakadama has asked local leaders to serve the country in line with the 4 principles of the NRM ideology. This was contained in her keynote address to district chairpersons, city and municipal mayors and selected speakers who are currently undergoing a 1-week transformational leadership course at the National Leadership Institute, Chankwanzi.
Prime Minister Rukia Nakadama has lauded local government leaders for playing an important role in the implementation of government programs and ensuring service delivery.
Local governments are service delivery engines, and your work directly impacts on the majority of Ugandans. And through you, allow me to thank Ugandans and you yourselves for electing our beloved president and NRM, because majority of us are NRM, isn't it? Asante sana.
Nakadama challenged leaders to lead by example and desist from coercing the people they lead.
As a leader, for me, as a leader who cherishes NRM and its principles, you are expected to influence people through leading by example. As a leader, you must persuade and influence people instead of coercing them, suppressing them. You're not supposed to do that as a leader. And that's why you are here, to get those skills of making people say, Yuma geuka, and they don't ask and they geuka.
The Minister for Local Government, Raphael Magezi, expressed concern about the poor working conditions local government leaders are working in.
Parliament have received their vehicles. And even we ministers, I have a government vehicle here. Right now, Prime Minister, it's inconceivable. It's not easy to understand that 2 years in service, these people don't have neither bicycle, nor a motorcycle, nor a vehicle. The emoluments, salaries, and welfare of these people, I think these are the most least paid public officers in Uganda today.
The State Minister for Local Government, Victoria Rusoke, asked for action from the IGG to fight corruption in local governments.
Right, Honorable Prime Ministers, the culprits are rejoicing in the districts and in the cities, rejoicing openly that nothing can happen to them. I'm ready to ask the IGG when she comes. In a nutshell, people are discouraged from reporting cases. I'll give you an example of myself, Rusoke, Victoria. Right, Honorable Prime Minister, I reported a case where the capitation grant to your schools, where your passion is in education, was being mismanaged in a syndicate. A treasurer, an auditor, a municipal city education officer to be in, because the status has changed, releases 140 million knowingly to a school which is supposed to get 45 million. And after 2 days goes back and said, X, I overpaid you, bring back the balance. I want the IGG, in all its seniority and seriousness, to find out where that money is. Did the school pay it back? Show evidence. Who received it? Where is it? And it's not in one school, it's not in two schools. That was the situation for that year. If they look years behind, the same has been happening.
President Yoweri Museveni is expected to address the chairpersons as they end their one-week retreat organized by the Ministry of Local Government.
Deputy Speaker of Parliament Thomas Tayebwa has tasked the government chief whip to come up with an attendance roster for ministers supposed to attend plenary sittings each time the House convenes. The decision follows perpetual absenteeism of ministers in the plenary sittings that is said to frustrate some business of the House. Deputy Speaker says the roster should serve as an accountability and also be used to check on the performance of front benchers in the House.
Embarrassing, what is here? I don't know which kind of words I can use, but this is embarrassing.
Deputy Speaker of Parliament Thomas Tayebwa has said that the absence of ministers has continuously frustrated business in the House. This was at the start of plenary this Wednesday, where ministers visibly skipped the sitting, except the government chief whip.
I think it's a matter which I very in the appointing authority. So we know whether ministers are supposed to come for this. If they are not, then we do.
Ministers are supposed to respond to questions and statements raised by members in the House. In his attempted justification, the government chief whip explained to the House that the absence of ministers is informed by their busy schedule.
You are aware, because you have been in the same place, you are on record as the 6th government chief whip, and these challenges are still persisting. Normally, the office of the government chief whip calls each and every minister on the order paper. That one is our standard practice. We'll be asking ourselves, where are they?
The excuse, however, was not supported by members.
The minister must be here in advance to answer or even respond to the concerns of members of Parliament.
Deputy Speaker of Parliament Thomas Tayebwa noted that Parliament will invoke some of the rules to name and shame ministers if they do not comply.
I prepare for the House because I'm going to handle complicated issues. I don't want to reach and start running, getting the condition to commit. And then I enter. The ministers are not. And yet I'm here to not do this.
This is not the first incident where the House convenes with an empty front bench. Susan Naonga reporting for UBC TV.
The third Deputy Prime Minister, Rukia Nakadama, says she will not return iron sheets she got from the office of the Prime Minister because they were used to roof public institutions affected by heavy rains. While interfacing with the Parliamentary Committee on Presidential Affairs, Nakadama told the MPs that her district, Mayuge, was hit by disaster and public institutions like schools, health centres and churches were destroyed.
Right Honourable Chairperson.
Mayuge, woman member of parliament who is also the third deputy prime minister, Rukia Nakadama, has admitted to have received the iron sheets and says she used them to roof public institutions deroofed by rainstorms. The Presidential Affairs Committee, headed by the Juman woman member of parliament, Ababiku Jessica, was interrogating her at the office of the president in Kampala.
We have issues with the iron sheets, which to the petition received got mismanaged. The one for Karamoja sub-region, And through our investigative processes, we established that your name is among the beneficiaries. So, for fairness, we felt we should give you audience to also listen from you than making our own judgment.
Woman member of parliament, I had a disaster in my district. So when I got the problem, I did not know that maybe Honorable Dr. Chitutu will soon have something in store that we can mismanage. I didn't know about that. That's why I had even run to the First Lady. Eh? In fact, if I had also like that the chairperson had something or could support me, I would have run to her.
She added that if the committee wishes to get back the iron seats, they should go to Mayuge and get the iron seats from the public institutions that benefited.
It's good that I've told you where the iron seats are. They are in that document. The places are known, and it is up to the committee. If they want them back, then the committee can say our resolutions, we want those schools to be unroofed. Then I think those people can unroof them. No, chairperson, I cannot say that I'll buy because I did not take to roof my house. I took iron sheets to government institutions. Now buying means that it is me, Nakadama, to roof a school. Eh? It is, now that is personal. But this is a government institution. I don't know if in the government policy we can say that let individuals.
Lists of 25 ministers are currently facing interrogation from various government institutions on allegations of having stolen iron seats meant for vulnerable people of Karamoja. Since the news broke out, a section of ministers have returned the iron seats. Philip Aguta for UBC News in Kampala.
Now, more on the iron sheet saga, the Minister for Karamoja Affairs, Mary Goreti Chitutu, is expected to appear in court on Thursday in connection with the Karamoja iron sheet saga after she was arrested by police on Tuesday when she turned down summons by police. And now in more news, the Mufti of Uganda, Sheikh Ramadan Mubaje, has urged the government not to neglect Muslims in the allocation of jobs in its institutions, as it has caused many government programs to fail due to Muslims being left behind. Mufti Mubaje was speaking at a meeting with officials from the presidential office led by Hajat Hadija Namyalo. We have more details in this report.
The Office of the President has had dialogue with Muslim leaders in an effort to further establish coordination with leaders in the country. Hajat Hadija Namyalo from the Office of the President met with Mufti of Uganda, Ramadan Mubaje, with whom she discussed crucial issues regarding the Muslim faith.
Uganda Muslim Council ekikire abasiramu Uganda tusobola okukolagana ne ofisi y'omukulembeze ow'eggwanga okubeera nti waberawo okuwuliziganya.
Mufti Mubaje says they want government to provide Muslims jobs and scholarships for their children.
Opportunities z'abaana okusomera obwereere nalabyeko abaana abagenza government sponsorship makerere bokka.
He said many government organizations have failed due to neglecting Muslim leaders.
Enkanyi kwekubeera nti abasiraamu naddala mu programu ez'okumalawo obwavu ffe tetunafuna programu etuyambanga abasiraamu mu ggwanga.
Namyalo said they will study the issues presented by the Muslim leaders to ensure that they are guided.
Twagala kulaba engeri gye tuleeta programs zino basheikhs bano oba bakulembeze b'amadiini tulabe engeri ki ze bazibuuliriramu abantu.
Namyalo also noted that they are meeting with religious leaders to further strengthen their working relationships. Lydia Chomkama, Joseph Muyingo, UBC News.
Isabat University has partnered with Uganda Police to train officers on cyber-related crime. These include defense mechanisms, identifying hackers to ensure safety in cyberspace, and the Director ICT at Uganda Police Force, SCP Yusuf Sewanyana, is optimistic that this arrangement will support the force respond swiftly to cyber-related offences.
The fourth industrial revolution has availed a number of opportunities in the economic sphere, though it is also an opportunity for hackers to adapt to new technologies. The Director, ICT at Uganda Police Force, SCP Yusuf Sewanyana, argues that hacking can put the country's security at stake. This calls for more training of law enforcers in techniques required in handling cyber-related crimes.
The cyberspace is getting infiltrated with the also because you may understand cyber has no frontier. We can be attacked from any part of the country, but it's steadily growing as the economy gets more digitized. So, and more people are getting more skills in terms of value chain. So the cyberspace is increasingly becoming very volatile for criminals to jug around with.
He, however, urged law enforcement officers to embrace the opportunity provided by Isbat University in supporting the training of officers in police with the latest techniques in cybersecurity.
Criminals are very much interested in most of what we are doing. So this training is going to inculcate skills and the techniques on how to prevent various adversaries onto our systems.
The Director, Academic Affairs at Isbat University, Dr. Pradeep Kumar, says they are ready to provide knowledge to law enforcement officers and students for a better cybersecurity system in the country.
We are very feel proud privilege to support, to extend our services to the officers of Uganda Police so that they can get more latest of technologies that how to prevent cyber crimes, cyber threats.
To avoid such incidences of cybersecurity, Manzi Kajina, a cybersecurity expert and coordinator at Cybersecurity Force, emphasized the need for security hygiene.
Avoid clicking links in emails that look fishy. And avoid clicking. Only visit websites that you need to visit, that you must visit. Other websites that have, betting and things like that, avoid those websites. Visit websites that have HTTPS. S stands for secure, meaning that your data is transmitted, it's encrypted as it moves from your computer to the server.
Over 90% of Ugandans are cyber insecure, a thing that puts the country's economy and the security status at risk. Irene Faith Nantongo, Mary Namokose, UBC News.
UBC News Tonight. Now, the Slovenian's Speaker of Parliament, Urska, has lauded Uganda for being a peace promoter in Africa and for preserving the environment and protecting wildlife from extinction. She made these remarks while touring Uganda Wildlife Education Conservation Center in Entebbe, where she named a young female rescued chimpanzee after herself and donated €300 for its upkeep.
The Speaker of Slovenia Parliament has toured the Animal Center in Entebbe, where she was welcomed by the State Minister for Tourism, Martin Mugara, and the management of UWEC. The Executive Director of UWEC, Dr. James Musingozi, guided the visiting team on a tour of the animal exhibits, where the Speaker fed some of them.
This has been a dream of mine, to be near such great animals that you have here, and what you are doing, to preserving the life, trying to prepare the animals, returning them to wildlife, and caring for those who cannot return to wildlife.
The visiting speaker lauded Uganda for being a peace promoter in Africa and thanked the Ministry of Tourism and UWEC management for granting her an opportunity to visit the center.
I'm very sad to see species, such magnificent species as the rhinoceros and apes going to extinction. So I thank you all for doing what you are doing.
She also named the young female rescued chimpanzee her name, Urska, and committed to make a monthly contribution towards animals' welfare.
Today I can afford to make 300 euros, but then every single month I want to donate another sum of money, and then next month another sum of money. So
the State Minister for Tourism, Martin Mugara, appreciated the Speaker's gesture and accepted to be ambassador to European countries, hence promoting Uganda's tourism.
So it's good you have said that when you come back you'd want to do something with the gorilla. We'd be happy to arrange for you so that you can also go ahead and we'll do that outside here, because Uganda has the highest population of the highland gorilla population in the whole world. It's mostly here. But still along that way we have the Rwenzori Mountain. Rwenzori Mountain is the highest non-volcanic mountain in the whole world. And of course 3 of the highest peaks in Africa are on the Rwenzori, and it has snow on top and all that. So yeah, so Uganda is a good country.
The Executive Director, UWEC, Dr. James Musingozi, says the Speaker's visit to UWEC will help to create a strong relationship with Slovenia as a country in terms of tourism.
Our zoo here in Entebbe will partner with the zoo in Slovenia to be able to see how we can exchange staff, exchange animals as a way of improving genetic diversity of animals, but also promoting capacity building for our different staff. Our staff may go to Slovenia, the Slovenians can come here and look at how African animals are looked after, and we can also exchange animals between the 2 countries.
Before her visit to UWEC, she met with the Speaker of Parliament and the Minister for Internal Affairs. I'm Nafka Farida and Sulaka Gugube.
Now, the recent demonstrations in Kenya, led by opposition leader Raila Odinga, has put the country in a tense state. Despite the truce between government and its critics, it appears that the country may be headed for more disruption due to what the government says are unrealistic demands from Azimio Party. Our reporter Dennis Sigoa sought the view of Tony Owana, a political analyst and veteran journalist, on what could be the way forward.
Right now, I think we can delve into regional politics. And if you talk about regional politics, I think Kenya has been in the spotlight in the last 2 or 3 weeks. There was an impasse, then probably a breakthrough. Just give us your personal analysis of what you've been seeing in Kenya and what does it mean?
We are having Kenya with a highly regarded opposition leader stuck in a template which has never delivered good things for Kenya, but probably to him as a person. I don't doubt Baba Raila's popularity. He is popular. But I think he's now misinterpreting his popularity for being the solution to everything. And using the old template, I now see him being appointed to a government position. Then what? Because if the problem is the economy, yes, how will his entry into government now sort out inflation? Unless he's the one who has been fueling it, which is unlikely. He's a businessman. He has nothing to gain from that problem. So for me, I'm seeing him being, I was about to say lured, but he's not being lured. He's heading there deliberately. Yes. And there will be a few appointments into government positions, and we shall go back to, which year was it when he was Prime Minister?
I think 2008.
Yes, because now, Kenya, I think, was the first country to have a leader of government business who is also the opposition leader. So when you are campaigning for the next election and you are blaming government for not performing, which government will you be talking about?
In this impasse, we can see the young people going onto the streets, throwing stones. They have joined of course they are saying they are fighting for the cause, the good cause. What will be your advice? And do you think it's, you must be having your take on this issue of the youth trying to legitimize the mission that is being fronted by the opposition?
Now, the people who are injuring each other do not realize that they are now pro-government rioters in Kenya and anti-government rioters in Kenya. That kind of balance of terror, it's a balance of terror. It cannot take anyone anywhere. If these young people close their eyes and count the casualties, how many of those casualties are from the families that matter? Yes. That should sober them. That should sober them.
So Baba has an ultimatum that if his concerns are not addressed within a period of like a week, we might have the mega maandamano back. So, and we saw the olive branch, they saw this, so what will be the next step?
Now that he has agreed that the matter will end up in Parliament, I think Parliament will make a decision on any misbehavior which he hatches. And whatever Parliament decides will be the law, and it will carry the legitimacy of Kenya. Those people are going to suffer with the security organs. If it was my country, I would advise them to avoid taking us for unnecessary funerals. That is all.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for your time.
Talk with freedom. Get MTN Freedom voice bundles that don't expire. Dial *100 *21# or my MTN app for more bundles. Together, we're unstoppable.
The Ministry of Energy and Mineral Development, under the auspices of the East African Community, will host the 10th East African Petroleum Conference and Exhibition 2023 from the 9th to the 11th of May 2023 at the Kampala Serena Hotel in Uganda. Take full advantage of the investment opportunities in the East African region's vibrant oil and gas sector. To find out more on how to sponsor, exhibit, or attend the 10th EAPCE 23, visit www.eapce23.eac.int.
10 years of supporting health in Uganda. This year, the Kabaka Birthday Run will mark its 10-year anniversary on Sunday, 16th April at Lubidi, starting 7 a.m. and continue the fight to end AIDS by 2030. Buy your running kit today at 20,000 shillings from Airtel shops, Benchuanuka, Fubani, New Taxi Pack, or Majestic Brands office in Bulage Mengo. You can also pay using Airtel Money. Dial *185 *5#. Kits purchased using Airtel Money shall be picked from Airtel Wampe or Shop. Proudly sponsored by
At Timex Nutrition Center, we advise you on the right foods to eat, exercise profile to adopt, and lifestyle strategies which are compatible to your blood group and genotype. This empowers your body to prevent and treat many diseases like diabetes, blood pressure, arthritis, ulcers, obesity, and many others. For more information, find us at our head office in Kampala on Nassa Road, Conrad Plaza, 2nd floor, or call 0758 819 952 or 0778 288 361. We also have other branches in Bara and Jinja.
Are you tired of high fees and slow transfer time when sending money? Look no further. Airtel Money is here to revolutionize the way you move your money. We have revised our rates, and now sending money from Airtel to other networks in Uganda, East Africa, and to the rest of the world has never been more affordable. Plus, you can trust Airtel Money to get your money where it needs to go quickly and safely. Simply dial *185# and start sending money. Switch to Airtel Money today and experience unbeatable rates and top-notch services for all your local and international money transfer needs. Airtel Money. Instant, secure, borderless.
TB kills approximately 30 people daily, and 247 Ugandans fall ill of TB disease every day. TB has killed dreams and families. We all deserve a chance in life to hustle, smile. We all deserve a chance to dream and be the best version of ourselves. It is preventable and curable. Know your status. TB testing, treatment, and all TB-related services are free in all government hospitals and accredited private health centers.
Welcome back from that break, and now into more news. Caritas Uganda, in partnership with the Office of the Prime Minister, has launched a 3-year project to promote block farming among refugees and host communities in the Bidibidi refugee settlement. The initiative is aimed at promoting sustainable agriculture and skills development for self-reliance in order to address food insecurity in the settlement.
2 volunteers of Arua Regional Referral Hospital working in the maternity ward have been arrested on orders of Inspector General of Government Betty Kamia after allegations of extorting money from patients.
They are young girls, sorry, but the law is the law. We shall deal with them. And I want to thank the people who have come out and identify people who took money from them. And doctor, please ensure that these people are protected. Here I've got the opportunity to talk to the attendants. And the attendants are saying that they are asked for money. This is the labor ward. And these attendants behind me. But the general view is that they are asked for money.
Mongochi Gladys and Manjere Nancy were accused and reported to the IGG by whistleblowers.
I gave them 70,000 for operation. And also other medicine they give using money. And also other nurses, they are not kind to us.
It is alleged that women in maternity and surgical wards pay to visit hospital toilets, buy gloves, laboratory services and medicines. The hospital director, Alex Andema, says management is green about the scam and however encouraged patients to report health workers who are extorting and mistreating them.
This has come timely to augment our activities against charging of patients. Although many times we have warned the staff not to charge the patients, and we also put notices, public notices, on our at the entrance of the units and the wards, telling them that this facility, the services in this facility are free of charge, except in the private wing. We have actually handled a few cases that came to our notice, whereby we ask them to refund the money, apologize, and also we take disciplinary actions against them.
In order to get rid of corrupt tendencies in the hospital, the IGG has requested the hospital to allow weekly visits by the IG Arua office in order to deal with the corrupt officials.
Because attendants are the ones who know. Sometimes the sick people are too sick. They come when they are too sick to know what is going on. They are on their beds. So anybody who wants to do something wrong speaks to the attendant. So I've instructed our office in Arua to be speaking, to come to hospitals and every week so that we know what is going on.
In a similar manner, a cleaner at the hospital was arrested by police on Friday last week after demanding money from a mother who had gone for maternity services at the hospital. According to the hospital director, cleaners are not staff of the hospital, but rather employees of a service provider providing sanitation services to the hospital.
You know, the cleaners, they work for a company.
They are not hospital staff.
They are not hospital staff. So we agreed that she should be what? She should be taken.
But how can she?
A few years ago, an ambulance and an autoclave were smuggled out of Arua Hospital. Joseph Odama, UBC News in Arua City.
Now we apologize for that mix-up. That is IGG in Arua City, who's investigating extortion of money from patients in the hospitals. But we'll be bringing you the Caritas Uganda partnership with the Office of the Prime Minister story later on in the bulletin. Now in more news, the Lord Mayor of Kampala Capital Authority, Erias Lukwago, has urged all road users to follow safety directives to reduce on-road crashes. According to statistics, road injuries have increased from 236 to 419 in 2021, largely because of overspeeding, overtaking, and violation of traffic lights. He was speaking at the launch of the Kampala Annual Road Safety Report at City Hall.
A round of applause as the Lord Mayor launches the
Kampala Capital City Authority, with support from Bloomberg Philanthropies Initiative for Global Road Safety, has launched the Kampala Annual Road Safety Report 2021 and Road Safety Risk Factor Status Summary Report 2022. This is the city's second report and shows 78% increase in the number of reported fatalities, among others, violating traffic lights, overspeeding, unsafe overtaking in Kampala.
Report ekulaga nti tweyongera kuba bubi, ebintu byeyongera kwonooneka, obubenje bwongera kumalawo bantu, obubenje bweyongera kubeera ekibuga kyaffe unsafe. N'olw'ensonga eyo nga tuteekeddwa okubaako ebyamangu bye tukola.
The report presents findings on road deaths, injuries from road crashes in the city according to the data from police. The Deputy Lord Mayor KCCA, Lauryn Masika, appealed to all road users on road discipline.
That more than 90% of the injuries are as a result of motorcyclists and then the pedestrians. And I'd love to pose a question. Does that surprise any of us?
The Commissioner Transport Regulations and Safety Ministry of Works and Transport, Winningston Katushabe, says the ministry is prioritizing road safety in Kampala.
I encourage you to continue the good work of Uganda Police Force. Again, you are not mayor to report that the new regulations under the Traffic and Road Safety Act as amended 2020 were signed by my minister and published in the Uganda Gazette. So the ministry shall soon officially launch the implementation and you will be part of us.
Meanwhile, the Kampala Metropolitan Traffic Commander blamed the increasing deaths and injuries on the behavior of road users.
Borders in Kampala are the ones that are most affected in these road traffic accidents. Many of them are dying in these accidents, especially on marked roads like the Northern Bypass. Reason being that the Northern Bypass is a fast road, so most cars there are driving really fast. And then borders are also there with their indiscipline on that road. So at the end of the day, we get cases of so many borders dying on the Northern Bypass.
The coordinator who also drafted this report, Stella Namatovu, stated that the report clearly calls on for urgent need to protect pedestrians, motorcyclists and bicyclists on the Kampala roads.
So we reviewed more than 5,000 crash reports from all the 9 police stations, and we reviewed all fatal, serious injuries and minor crashes.
Meanwhile, this report indicates that the deaths among road users such as pedestrians, motorcyclists and bicyclists accounted to 94% of the deaths in 2021, with motorcyclists alone accounting for 51% of the reported deaths.
President Yoweri Museveni has over the years insisted that as a nation we need to adjust and make homes our hospital through proper feeding. The president principally looks at right feeding as one that can help Ugandans avoid many non-communicable diseases. His idea is now being fully embraced at schools, with Parenting Uganda Early Childhood Care and Development Center taking the lead.
When President Yoweri Museveni fronted the idea of homes through right feeding to boost immunity should be hospital, many didn't embrace the idea. But now, though unfortunately after increase in non-communicable diseases even amongst the youth that are mainly fed on junk food, the message is amplified by all. A case in point has been at Parenting Uganda Alec Childhood Care and Development Center Naria through a food science fair.
We are having a parent-child interaction session where we have organized a food science fair to talk to children about the foods that we have at home. And today we are basically looking at those raw foods and the processed foods.
The purpose of the event is basically to teach the children to appreciate non-processed food items and processed food items. It's in our learning framework. It's something the children look at. That theme is called Taking Care of My Body for Proper Growth and Development. So we thought it very important for the parents this time to come in and be the one to teach.
The parents that were skeptical when the idea was birthed now believe it's long overdue and must be maintained.
If I'm feeding a child a sweet potato, the child is going to get the right nutrient raw. It hasn't been tampered with. And this is something that as parents, I think we should be encouraged to go back and not to be lazy just to get everything from the supermarket, but rather go back to our origin and feed our children the right foods.
Search engine Google says that a healthy diet helps children grow and develop properly while reducing risk of chronic diseases. For adults, longer life and lower risk of obesity, heart disease, type 2 diabetes and certain cancers are distant with the right diet.
Jinja Catholic Diocese has convened in Jinja City for a Christmas Mass, which is a replica of this year's Martyrs' Day celebrations that is going to be animated by Jinja Diocese. The participating congregations was drawn from across the diocese, with ministers, members of parliament, among others, attending. Take a look.
Martyrs' Day celebrations at the Catholic Shrine Namugongo is to be animated by Jinja Diocese on 3rd June 2023. In preparations for the event, the diocese has this Wednesday convened for a Christmas Mass hosted in Jinja City. The Mass, which is a replica of 3rd June celebrations at Namugongo, was lit up by this choir. Such rich culture is what the diocese intends to exhibit at Namugongo.
Kubanga twenanga abasoga tulina betwenuminkirizamu Matiya Mulumba ni Gonza Gagonza tubede flaga nga diri waigulu nga tujja e Namugongo.
Bazira balina culture erina muzira gusinga gwaife. Ezira balina culture balina machina gasinga gaife. Culture ife ekisoga tujaji gaitamu idini yaife ekikatuliki twingire Namugongo nga twingire wonga abasoga abaide ni Yezu.
The Bishop of Jinja Diocese, the Right Reverend Charles Martin Wamika, was the main celebrant.
May the Lord in His love keep you close to Him always, and may He bring all of us, His priests and people, to eternal life.
In attendance was a section of brethren, including ministers, members of parliament, among others.
Nga tukulembeirwa Matiya Mulumba ni Gonza Gagonza tujaba kuba vibe e Namugongo baidatu gayaku n'abalirawo balitwebuuzaako.
Tujire mu fundraising mujja kusubira omukolo omukalamu kwaya yaife nga bwe mugibona egirete yemba bagire nga begezaamu bikudduko kamaala okwetegekera olwaleero wano tubaire mu kubonesaaku ekinaaba e Namugongo. Ndiche tunabaamu e Namugongo tukirese wano mu Jinja Diocese.
With 57 days left to this year's Martyrs' Day celebrations, Jinja Diocese is fully set for the day. Robert Nyango, UBC News.
Well, UBC News Tonight takes another short break, but we'll be back with much more news. Stay tuned.
At Timex Nutrition Center, we advise you on the right foods to eat, exercise profile to adopt, and lifestyle strategies which are compatible to your blood group and genotype. This empowers your body to prevent and treat many diseases like diabetes, blood pressure, arthritis, ulcers, obesity, and many others. For more information, find us at our head office in Kampala on Nassa Road, Conrad Plaza, 2nd floor, or call 0758 819 952 or 0778 288 361. We also have other branches in Bara and Jinja.
This isn't just a girl. She is the future. This is a teacher, a doctor, a community leader, our future president.
Their support meant so much to me, and as a teenage girl, I stayed focused and was protected from child marriage and teenage pregnancy. I will support other girls against child marriage and teenage pregnancy.
Take action. Report any case of defilement or child marriage to the police or call Sauti 116.
Jerry con. Jerry con. Hey, Master Blaster. Touch him, man. Buy Jerry con with muscle. Those ones who say go for you only. Mundava. Best movies I teach you. But never come up with the scarry. Because of the cover is very far. Is you serious? Is serious you? What? Yeah? You step it on it. Add kilometers to your legs. And you get your sugar. We buy meat from Umaru. And Umaru refused to give you enough meat. Mama! Show him that they don't joke with you. Umaru, where? Jerry car.
Okukakaluka n'okulungi kwetaagako omuntu akuyambako, n'olwekyo tujja kukuteerawo embeera esaanidde osobole okukola ekisinga awamu teri kitulema.
This isn't just a girl. She is the future. This is a teacher, a doctor, a community leader, our future president.
She is the future of Uganda. And as a policy maker, the policies I enact today will protect her from child marriage and teenage pregnancy. We each have a role to play in empowering our teenage girls to protect them from child marriage and teenage pregnancy. Because when we empower them, we empower our nation. Protect the girl, save the nation.
Take action. Report any case of defilement or child marriage to the police or call Sauti 116.
Welcome back from that break, and now into the business scene. Ministry of Gender, Labour and Social Development has dispatched over 3 billion shillings for the Uganda Women Entrepreneurship and Youth Livelihood Program to those groups that applied for the fund. The Minister of Gender, Betty Amongi, says the funds will be given to those districts that have recovered the money borrowed before. Some of the districts include Ibanda, Lira, Kumi, among others.
The 6,097 million shillings is to be shared by women and youth groups in different districts, including Wakiso, Kazo, and Iganga.
For the whole country, but for selected districts that have performed well. And we are going to disburse today 3,097 million. That so long as you recover this money and you get groups to apply for this money, you are still able to be supported to get the money.
Only districts that have retrieved the money are to benefit, though there have been challenges in recovery attributed to the effects of COVID-19 pandemic.
Now with the reestablishment of the joint program, the little operational fund that has been given
has been used, and you can see now a big improvement in the recovery, both in the women and the youth.
The youth and women have been implored to start up projects through their groups in a bid to fight unemployment.
In a viable business idea, don't eat the money and then pay back the money in time so your community can be able to benefit.
Akariwa Kendo Women's Piggery Project Group explains how they intend to spend the 8.5 billion shillings given to them. When we get the money, we want to expand our piggery and poultry projects. Miriam Mumcha, UBC News.
Uganda Development Bank has launched a strategic fund that aims at promoting climate-smart agriculture, ensure climate-resilient infrastructure and low carbon emissions. Over 70% of Ugandans depend heavily on agriculture, and micro, small and medium enterprises have little capacity to withstand financial shocks.
The media, the Managing Director UDB, Ms. Patricia Odagola says the increasing threat of climate change and environmental degradation has the potential to present high socio-economic risks to the economy. As the impacts continue to manifest through floods, droughts, landslides, and molds and crop epidemics, among other signs in different parts of the country, they are more harmful to the poor and marginalized who depend largely on natural resources for their livelihood.
Globally, there is a lot of money. There is a lot of money which has come up in the global system to finance climate change. We would like to tap into these resources. So we put up a framework, we put up a unit in the Ministry of Finance, Planning and Economic Development, and Debt Directorate to mobilize this resource. And we are going to use banks like a development bank to reach out to the people by bringing these resources to them. They are now what we call carbon credits, whereby as a country we are going to be selling our carbon credits to those countries who are the champions of pollution.
So, despite the challenges in implementing the policies in place, such as financial constraints, capacity challenges, limited coordination among different institutions, inadequacies in monitoring climate finance flows, limitations in enforcement of environmental regulations, and so many others, we can appreciate the progress that has been made by the different stakeholders, especially the government and the development partners in your different capacities.
The bank will stimulate green economic growth by coordinating green financing options, mobilizing and increasing access to green finance by structuring and providing tailored products to address market gaps, including risk mitigation products, and providing the right products to address investment demand in the green sector.
Now, this facility is coming to be used to not only mitigate but adapt ourselves to the environment.
The vulnerability of the population requires urgent need to adapt and maintain future economic growth opportunities by transitioning to a low-carbon green economy, and we are aware that this will require massive investment.
The objective will foster climate-conscious change in investments with a clear objective of building climate-proof businesses, as this is a better strategy for building long-term viable enterprises that are adaptive to climate impacts and seek a low-carbon development pathway. Sandra Kahunde, UBC News.
Uganda Tourism Association leaders have urged government to postpone the annual Pearl of Africa Tourism Expo and first resolve inconsistencies therein. The association president, Stephen Biaruhanga, says the private sector is ready to boycott the expo since it was not included in the organization. This was communicated during the annual general meeting of the Uganda Tourism Association held in Kampala.
The Uganda Tourism Association brings together all tourism trade associations such as Uganda Safari Guides Association, Uganda Community Tourism Association, among others. It has changed its name from Uganda Tourism Association to a federation of tourism associations.
But we are. We cannot remain as an association, something small, but we must tell the world we have a confederation. Like it is a practice in other countries. So we decided to have it as a confederation. It gives us a bigger voice. It includes everybody because we're going to recruit people at different, even at regions, in districts, regional levels and national levels. It opens up the whole association that everybody can belong there.
However, the members of the association disclosed that they are set to boycott the Pearl of Africa Tourism Expo, since there is a lot of inconsistencies, thus asking government to postpone it.
Lack of transparency by the organizers has demonstrated that there's no value for the business of this country. And also, up to this time, members have come up with a lot of details. They do not know the number of people you are going to invite here. Who are these you are inviting to come to the country? Which value do they bring here? Who did the due diligence? The members of the private sector who sit on the National Organizing Committee have told us here. They don't know anything. They have been being called in meetings only to be told what is going to happen.
They also decried various challenges that limit their service delivery as an association.
Challenge of funding is a serious problem, but it has its foundation in mindset change, the attitude of the powers that be towards tourism. They have never appreciated the cow they milk.
Poor, we are cooperating in a very poor economy, so even membership issues becomes a challenge because members are supposed to raise their own membership, enough to maybe run their budgets. But it becomes also challenging.
Members of the association welcomed the new name, saying that it is timely.
Makes it easy for planning. We are reviewing the Tourism Act, whereby the Confederation is supposed to be a representative of the private sector in the Tourism Act. So by changing the name, you get those kinds of benefits. So for instance, inclusion in the Tourism Act.
The associations of Uganda Tourism represent tour operators, travel agents, tour guides, hotel general managers, among others. The 55th Annual Pearl of Africa Tourism Expo will be held at the Commonwealth Resort in Munyonyo from 26th to 29th April 2023. Rebecca Nantongo, UBC News.
Of supporting health in Uganda. This year, the Kabaka Birthday Run will mark its 10-year anniversary on Sunday, 16th April at Lubidi, starting 7 a.m. and continue the fight to end AIDS by 2030. Buy your running kit today at 20,000 shillings from Airtel shops, Benchwanuka, Fubani, New Taxi Pack, or Majestic Brands office in Bulange Mango. You can also pay using Airtel Money. Dial *185 *5#. Kits purchased using Airtel Money shall be picked from Airtel Wampe or shop. Paul is sponsored by
Welcome back from that break, and now into the sports scene with 4 boys under 19 regional open tournaments in the bag. Batball Uganda has launched the 5th and final edition of the tournaments. The Batball West Open edition will be played on the 7th and 8th of April 2023 at Kamengo Serenity Oval in Impigi district.
After 4 successful regional tournaments, Batball Uganda Limited, in partnership with Uganda Cricket Association, Cricket for Development and India Juries, has launched the 5th and final regional Batball Open tournament. The West Edition event will be played on the 7th and 8th of April 2023 at the Kamengo Serenity Oval in Impigi. Like the other editions, this event will have 4 under-19 boys cricket teams named after the region's birds. Though the games will be played at Kamengo, all the players are from Uganda's western region, especially the districts of Mbarara and Kasese.
We've come to the 5th edition of the Batball Open, which is the Western edition. It's going to take place at the Serenity Oval on 7th and 8th of April. We are happy that we have come to this level where we have exposed over 300 youngsters, and these youngsters are on the path to play for Uganda. So We have all the information on these players, we have the data, we have the locations, we have the statistics. So this is information I believe UCA can use to be able to select their players for the national setup. And we're not just looking at the men's, but also looking at the boys, under 15, under 17, and under 19. So we believe the boys are very confident after playing against each other, after playing in very interesting games. And I believe they now have the heart, and the future is bright for them to be able to play for this country.
As you see, we have targets every year for the numbers that should be participating in cricket nationally. And bat ball is on the ground to ensure that we achieve those numbers.
The tournament, on top of carving pathways for cricket talent development from the grassroots, the organizers also use the regional events to create social impact in the communities.
For the West region, it will be keeping personal hygiene. We create awareness for this in the region, and we shall talk about it during our events. We shall talk about it whenever the game is going on. We are creating awareness. And as bat ball, we saw the seeds. Some of them will grow, some of them will sprout, some of them will not. But we try and do our best.
Teams Kanyonza, Olyongoyongo, Entuha and Enyawawa will compete in 10 overs aside format, with the winner walking away with the grand prize. Individual winners will also be awarded at the end of the tournament. Grace Joyce Kemigisa, UBC News.
I want to thank you so much for your company on this edition of UBC News Tonight. Well, we want to remind you that the biggest show in the land will be on tonight at 10 o'clock, and that is Behind the Headlines. I'm Lauryn Masika Kazimoto. I wish you a good night, and also from my colleague Elizabeth Nakakoni and the people working behind the scenes, it's a good night and God bless.
UBC, inspiring Uganda.
This is a quick call. I'm almost out of minutes.
Why rush through such important conversations? Airtel Uganda has made it possible for you to call across all networks in Uganda at the best rates